Hello, everyone. I'm Kevin from Ring Crew, and welcome back to the IndyVision podcast, episode 4. However, this time we are brought to you by Money Mark Media, headed by and one of my new co-hosts, Timothy Titan, as well as a returning former guest, Tommy Horror. And we are joined by our special guest tonight, Mr. Godrick Sandwell.
Oh, no, no, no. Hold on. Allow me. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the 2025 Berg Brawl champion and the brand new Three Rivers champion, the gentleman of exquisite caliber, Godrick Sandwell.
Thank you very kindly, Mr. Horror. I appreciate that. And I must say, I am proud to be your Three Rivers champion once again.
And the belt looks amazing on you, I must say.
And Godrick, one quick question. How does it really feel? You spent a very long time. Timothy Titan has the exact time written down. But you were
39 minutes and 15 seconds in the Iron Man position in the Berg Brawl this year.
starting at number 1.
Ooh. Yeah, that's right. I did. My casual trips through the Inferno is usually a little bit easier than what I had to deal with this past Saturday. That I promise you. But at the end of the day, I managed to survive. And I must say, I'm quite elated to once again be your Three Rivers champion.
Now, Godric, let's talk a little bit about history here, too, with you and Express Wrestling. So, I believe it was exactly a year ago at last year's Berg Brawl in 2024 that you made your debut for Express Wrestling as an in-ring competitor.
That
Now,
is correct.
the best part about your story and what I find fascinating is that you actually came into Express Wrestling as a referee and not a editor. So tell me, how did that journey even go? Because the way I remember it is you came in as a referee, but you'd be working out with the guys before the show, and they all said, "Man, you should be a wrestler. Why are you a referee?" And then here we are. You declared yourself in the 2024 Burke Brawl, and you had a pretty decent showing there, eliminating Aaron Connors. I remember that much.
Yeah,
So,
I do remember that as well.
so, and also, a lot of people probably wouldn't know. Back in 2015 was when I first met you, and you were a referee for a company called VWF that I was wrestling in. So I've known you for
And
quite a while, and I didn't even know that you were trained. So tell us, how did you get into the wrestling business? Like, where'd you start? What made you decide to get into the business?
well, back at that time, obviously, I was not the same gentleman that you see before you. I was quite a different person, and I kind of rather would just leave it at that. But as fate would have it, a very good friend of mine that I've known in the business for quite some time, but I've been friends with him outside, of course. It started. It started with a random phone call from a friend of mine. You all know him as the Blood Beast. Ooh, that name still sends shivers up my spine. But regardless, he called me on a random Monday before a show that he was doing at that particular time was the Tom Clark Motorsports. Offered me a spot on a show, and my literal response was, "Okay." And as far as that goes, that led me to VWF when that was around at the time. I do miss the place so dearly, by the way. But yeah, then lo and behold, you and I met. I met a lot of fantastic people there, some and not so great. But for the next 6 years, I got the honor and the privilege to stand among many great competitors, like all of you gentlemen, whenever I got a chance to. And as a matter of fact, Mr. Titan, didn't you say we've had a previous run-in too?
Actually, we worked MVP at the same time. You were repped a couple of my matches there. That actually brings up another question I would ask you. You went from all these different organizations. What made you choose PWX to really almost kind of seem to put your heart and soul into? Sorry, Express now, but
Stress.
you've obviously been there since well before the name change because we're talking about last year. So, I mean, What made that almost feel like what seems like your home at this point?
Well, since you're saying PWX, if I'm allowed to say that,
I mean, it says it on your belt.
There's still a history.
There's still history
well,
there.
that is a very fair point. Yeah, my
Listen,
my
12-year-old
journey
that's
took me
what
to a lot of
12-year-old me
different
still knows it
places.
as, so
That's fair. That is fair. But anyways, obviously my journey at the very beginning and even now takes me to a lot of different places, a lot of different lands, a lot of different cats that I cavort with, I guess you might say. But I don't know. Fate would have it that the one place that I always wanted to call home was just right in my backyard. If my memory serves, I want to say actually it was you, Mister Horror, that suggested that I come by and give my referee skills a try at the time. And well, I'm certainly grateful that you remembered me from all those years ago.
Yeah, yeah. I did. Yeah. Once I All right, so we'll peel back the curtain a little bit. Once I got to a portion of the backstage and becoming management, one of the first things I did was call Godrick here and ask him to come and referee. So that part is true, yeah. But I did remember him. He was one of my favorite people at DWF. So yeah, I had to give him a call. I was like, I wonder what he's been doing lately. And now I'm super glad that I did because look at you now, dude. I'm so proud of you and what you've accomplished already, and you're only a year in. So who knows what's
That
Yeah,
gonna
part's
happen
to
still
next?
kind of that part's still kind of mind blowing to me that you're only a year in, having known that I know you from 7 years ago, 6, 7 years ago at least.
yeah, that's right. Some of us have quite the history together. I'm even looking kind of on the camera right now, seeing the prestigious Three Rivers over my shoulder, and I look back at the lineage of this, and it's just like what sometimes I wonder what exactly gives me the right to be able to stand among such names. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to mention any, but I'll mention some recent ones, like say an Aaron Connors, like say a Superior G. You know what? I'll even extend this courtesy out of simple respect to a certain ne'er do well called Jace Carr that also held this as well. So courtesies be as it may, but I'm happy to throw my hat in that ring. Oops, excuse me.
N-
There we
Now,
go.
real quick, Tim and Godrick, if you don't mind. Now, where did the disdain and the animosity come from with Jace Carr? I tried to follow along, but when I'm backstage as ring crew, I don't get to see a whole lot. And let's be real, there's a lot to unpack with a whole show. Where did it where did it start?
Well, I mean, as much as I do sympathize with your plight, my good friend, I really can't point specifically to one incident or one bad encounter, anything like that. Jace Carr is a name that I've known for quite some time. I keep an eye on things that are obviously important, and independent professional wrestling is highly important in my life. But I've never had any issue that I knew about with Mr. Carr, but I really wish I knew. Honestly, to some extent, I think it was more of a case of I was in the wrong place at the wrong moment. But if he was looking to make a splash, I don't mean to sound arrogant when I say this, but if he was looking to make a splash, well, he picked a good person to do it with.
You're brought up wrong place at the wrong moment. So I got to ask you, somebody who just happened to be in the right place at the right moment was Brian Anthony on Saturday at Berg Brawl. Is that something you had planned? Did you have him back there just in case Jace got out of hand? Did you guys talk beforehand about that at all, or Did he just real recognize real, for lack of a better way to put it, I guess?
Actually, Um, I didn't really talk to Mr. Anthony too much prior to Berg Brawl. My mind was focused more on making my preparations because, let's be honest, doing a match with one other individual or in a triple threat or in a fatal four way type of an environment is a lot different than say running a gauntlet in a battle royale fashion. So I obviously had to gear my mindset just a little bit differently. So I don't really have a lot of time to talk to him. Unfortunately, is quite the conversationalist. I will say about that one.
Now, Godrick, real quick, would you say, and it's a little backtracking, but it feeds into what we're kind of talking about, not so much your rivalry with Jace or the matches you've had over the last year, but your time as a referee to now your time as an in-ring competitor. Would you say your time as a referee has made you appreciate this moment more? Where some guys are like, "Oh, look at me, I'm right there in front of the crowd day one. I'm nervous," and then it's like, "Oh, it's smooth sailing." You had time to really digest the situation you were in as a referee and see around you and how other people did things. Would you say that helped you more than the average person who just debuted under like a random show down the line?
Actually, I think it's a pretty fair assumption. The expression or the idiom would go that I had the best seat in the house to learn the craft a little bit more than most people would. I know there's a lot of people that don't pay as much attention as they probably should, but well, a gentleman of my exquisite caliber prefers to be a little bit more perspicacious when it comes to most important matters. And while, as I said before, professional wrestling is a very important matter to me.
So becoming being a ref helped you really become that student of the game. Well, you
I would
already had
definitely
the
say yes
passion.
to that one.
Okay.
Now, after Berg, I noticed something else at Berg Brawl. I noticed that a guy named William Renee made his return to Express Wrestling after almost 500 days. I know you have a bit of past history with him down in Ohio at a place called Cheap Shots Pro Wrestling. What do you think about like branching out? Because I know you're in Tennessee, you're doing Warpath, you're doing Resolute. Like, what? How did you get to that point where you were able to branch out of Pittsburgh and go to other places like that?
Well, truth be told, actually, I'm going to call back on my history as a referee. I've met, like I said, I've met a lot of great people in my time. I've gotten to have conversations with people far wiser than I in professional wrestling, though with some matters, they look to me for other subjects, and let's just leave it at that to some extent. But calling upon that history, there were some people that were actually delighted to see me make the crossover to being an actual competitor. One individual, I love him dearly. His name is Frankie Swamp Tower. He tends to haunt the more Tennessee area, and he's been very interested in getting me down there for quite some time. Unfortunately, my schedule a little bit later last year was starting to get a little bit more packed up, but earlier this year, I was able to get in my car, put 1,000 miles on it round trip, and I was able to make my debuts at both Resolute and at Warpath Pro Wrestling, and I got to see some old friends again.
Is there a state you haven't wrestled in that you're very anxious to get into?
Hmm, that is a mighty fine question. The answer would clearly be yes to that. If you're asking me to pick a specific state that I would like to compete in, the answer is yes.
Well, I mean, could you
I'm gonna guess
perhaps
Kentucky.
share said state? I would guess in New
Because-
York. If we're throwing blind guesses, I'm guessing New York because the gentlemen love New York.
Well, perhaps I
I
could
feel like
visit
he'd
a
like to go to
nice theater.
California. He wants to walk amongst the stars.
Oh,
Mhm.
the stars handle me. It's not the other way around. The gentleman promises not to be too coy.
Now, Godrick, if anybody's ever met you, like, just outside of the ring at any point, we all know there's one thing you're very proud of. So I'll just go ahead and ask it. Do you have any tips on how to exercise your glutes?
The boy does got some gluteus maximuses. Just saying.
Oh, you guys are too kind. You are too kind.
No, it's
Actually
just
reminds
what
me
you
of a
tell
great.
us all the time. I have a great ass. I've heard it a million times from Godrick Sandwell.
I mean, it is true. I do have a delectable booty since you're all pointing it out.
I didn't say nothing. That was the
Oh, don't be coy. I know you notice sometimes.
look. Just because you help train me on certain days doesn't mean you got to sit there and put me on the spot.
I did not do that, sir. But but in all seriousness, if you're looking for any tips to achieve that shapely booty, you might say, let's see here. I do a lot of running on the treadmill, vary up the speeds, leg presses, squats. I would even recommend getting in the ring, just moving around. Just don't sit on your keister too much, and I think you'll be just fine.
Now, real quick, since we're
Well,
talking about
Godrick, I
working out,
can't do any of those things. Thank you.
That is some bollocks, and we
since
know it.
since we're talking about your weightlifting and your training routine, are you a max weight small reps or a max reps small or if I think I got that flipped, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, the general philosophies of working out, obviously, if you're trying to build muscle, you want more weight of less reps. But if you want to tone and shred like I do, that's more of more reps of less weight. Obviously, you can see with my body type, I prefer to be a little bit more on the shredded side, given my small frame.
I mean, it works. It's a good look. I mean, people again are currently complimenting your butt. I don't know. Especially Mr. Horror here. I don't know. Last time I talked to Mr. Horror, he was a raging D bag, and now he's like complimenting people. What happened?
Hmm.
uh, I, uh, I, uh, I ate my spinach.
I mean, hey, if I may dare say, anybody can turn over a new leaf, right?
I, you're right. You're right. And I've been through tons of therapy, lots of drugs. Um, and
Admittance is the first
you know,
step to recovery.
yeah, yeah. I'm in a 12-step program with Joshua Kavad. Um, just yeah.
Well, I did not know that.
None of that is true, Godric. I'm just
Okay.
I was about to say the first. No, I can't say that. That makes me the bad guy if I say it.
You want me to
Although
say
it's
it?
funny that you mentioned
Go
the
ahead,
name
Tim. Go
Kawad.
ahead, Tim. Say it.
I'm the bad guy. I'll say it. Tommy,
good.
how are you in a 12-step program?
What? This isn't about me. This is about Godric today. We're not doing.
It's actually kind of funny that you brought up the name Kawad because I also remember having a little bit of a run-in with him on Saturday as well, and that was quite the honor.
Yeah, you guys were the final two.
Yeah.
Well, final
So we
two.
thought,
Jace
yeah.
Carr
Yeah.
had actually slid out under the bottom rope, so
Hmm.
was not eliminated from the match and came back later. But the final five of that Berg Brawl was
Smart.
pretty tough competition. Let's be real. There was you, Kavad, Sawyer, McCoy, and then Jace popped back up.
Hmm. I remember that quite well. Again, how I survived to that point and beyond, I truly don't know.
Now, going into it, was there any thought in the back of your mind that Jace Carr could pull some dirty tactics like this at all, or like did you just kind of go in with no strategy and hope that just your wit and your cunning would get you through the match? Anything like that?
Well, there's only so much prep work you can do when dealing with snakes in the grass and their nefarious tactics. I will say having him at number 2 did give me a little bit of a psychological boost because it's like, well, let's face it, a gentleman is known to do things with his hands that maybe I shouldn't say on the air, but I'm going to leave it at that. But either way, Mister, did I say something funny?
No, no, keep going, please.
Keep going, please.
Yeah.
Very well, Mr. Kevin from Ring Crew.
Hey, I'm
Ugh.
Ring Crew. I'm not the most intelligent. I'm not the most well humored. That's why they make me do the grunt work.
See, guys, I told you he knew. You said he didn't know.
Well, me and Kevin have a little bit of a history as well, and don't worry, it's good history. And nothing but love for this man. He does great work with the ring, so I appreciate it. And a lot of these other competitors, they better as well.
I was about to defend Kevin. I was say because as somebody who hits the ropes like they owe him money, you should be very happy that he's fixing them ropes for you, there, Mister Sandwell.
Again, I agree. All the credit in the world goes to the ring crew for allowing me to be able to do such feats.
Now, speaking of some feats, I wanted to bring some stuff up because I've also seen you work at other places. As Titan brought up, you're at Legit Alternative Wrestling, you're at Pro Wrestling Cheap Shots, you're at Resolute, you're at Warpath. I think you popped up at Desire Pro in Zanesville. Uh, I'm sorry, I'm spacing on some of the others, but like you seem to find the success everywhere you go. That defines a work ethic, not only with your mind, but and your physical body that you're putting out there. That there's a lot of people that will make excuses if they don't, or you seem to get knocked back down and get up 20 times stronger than you were before.
Yeah, you are very kind to say that. That mentality I didn't always have. Things have obviously happened in my life that that taught me it's either you put everything you've got into it or just leave. And professional wrestling is one of those only things. Yeah, no, 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 scratch that. At this point, it is the only thing in my life right now that I want to put every single ounce of me into. It doesn't matter if I'm at Desire Pro Wrestling, although I enjoy my time there. It doesn't matter if I'm down in Tennessee with Resolute, with Warpath. I love it down there too. I don't care where I go. I don't care where this journey takes me. If it keeps me here at Express Wrestling, I'm great with that. If it keeps me in Pittsburgh as a whole, I'm great with that. If it takes me to foreign lands, I'd be great with that. But I made a solemn vow a long time ago that if I ever got the chance to do this for you, for the honor of you guys, for the honor of the fan, for the honor of the people who can't or won't do it, I'm going to give it everything that I have, and that's the end of the story. Because otherwise, I don't belong here.
Now, one more thing, Godrick. I'm sorry that you're a bit. I'm going to give you your moment. Sorry, I don't want to
It's quite all right. It's quite all
interrupt your
right.
moment. But something else you pride yourself on is definitely you're very well versed. You're very well spoken. I've said this on podcasts before that I popped up on with you. I had a co-host one once, but you seem to be very prideful of the knowledge that you have, and this is outside of wrestling and in wrestling. You're a very knowledgeable person. You like to learn. What would be some books that you would suggest? I know this is a wrestling podcast, but some books that you would recommend to somebody if they want to really improve their vocabulary other than a thesaurus. What would you I had to make sure to pronounce it right or else it was not gonna come out right.
I like that you had to close your eyes to do it.
How,
I did
how
because I was
often
gonna
do you
laugh.
read your thesaurus?
My Thethorith.
Yeah, how often do
Hey,
you
I
hey,
read
bit
it?
my
hey, hey,
tongue.
whoa.
I bit my tongue. I almost bit my tongue when I said it the first time, so
Well, are you asking about books in a wrestling sense or
no,
just in general?
anything. We're
Literature.
talking about your personal recommendations on something. This is about you right now. Tell us what
Okay,
you wanna tell us.
okay. Well, that's a little bit of a tricky question because I don't know what people like to think about. I don't know what people like to do with their lives. So it's a little hard for me to really define exactly. But if you're asking what I would personally recommend to anybody who just wants to learn in general, I would recommend looking up an author by the name of Friedrich Nietzsche if you're interested in psychology. Carl Jung is another one that I would highly, highly recommend. Let me think here. I'm also a big fan of things like Socrates for Aristotle, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus. If you're looking for Stoicism, um, please forgive me if I butcher this, but Hagakure, Hidden in the Leaves, is the translation from Japanese. Um, the yeah, the name of the book is Hagakure. The author is Yamamoto Tsunetomo. Again, if I butcher that, I apologize. But if you're
Hey, I'm
looking
just
for a
throwing this out
fantastic,
here. As the editor of this video, I really hope I don't have to do subtitles after all them crazy big words he just said.
You don't have to. Just put you can put like in
Some AI
unintelligible
for.
big names.
Oh, wow.
oh come on, I'm not that
Scott
well versed.
Steiner,
Come on.
unintelligible noise.
Okay,
You know what?
Godrick,
In
Godrick.
fact, now that I brought it up real quick, because me and you have had some interactions at LAW, and you always talk about a game called Canassus. Can you
Mhm.
please tell me what the hell is Canassus? Because I've always been curious.
First of all, the card game is called Canasta.
Ooh.
Canasta, okay.
Yeah, it's a card game that comes from Paraguay. Actually, if in case anybody didn't know that, I didn't know its actual origins until recently either. I was actually a little taken aback. But it's just a game that I like to play with demigods, and well, I just happen to be pretty good, which is why Alecto decided to send her Heartbeat Queen after me.
Can I speak about one little elephant in the room real quick? Well, two little tiny ones. One, can we go back to the fact that when you thought you were going to face Pat Angel, you legitimately came back from the heavens above?
I did say that in my promo, did I not?
Yeah, no, how is that possible?
Well, I'm actually kind of glad you asked. Well, I do make the claim, although I can actually, I mean, if you really want me to go into some of those stories, I will, but I do play cards with demigods, as you know, and I'm known to wine and dine with the finest of demons as well. But my casual traipse takes me to the land of angels and the cherubs. I know Gabriel, I know Michael actually quite well as well.
Did it hurt
It did not hurt, but the
when
fall
you fell
from
from heaven?
grace
Did it
is
hurt?
painful.
Okay. Mhm. Now, Godrick, one big question that everybody wanted to know. Everybody sent in their question to me.
Yes, sir.
If you were yogurt, fruit at the bottom or stirred?
Oh, you have to go stirred, no questions asked.
Looks like Timmy also had a
It,
question.
it,
I was gonna say, as I want to say, as somebody who's just recently started paying attention to Express Wrestling, I want to ask you about this. So you hold that Three Rivers title, but I can't help but notice that almost every other title is held by somebody from Buffalo, New York, or surrounding areas. You got Certified Degenerates with the tag titles. You got Sebastian Braun with the heavyweight title. Like, you got a lot of talented dudes coming down from New York. Is that something you like? Is there any of them that are catching your eye? Because I my big takeaway from Saturday from them guys was Dakota Orion is the real deal. So, is there any of them guys that's catching your eye or anything like that? Or what do you think about the fact that a Pittsburgh wrestling company is basically overrun by New York guys owning their titles?
Well, obviously, with me being the exception, I was born and raised in Pittsburgh, but that aside, um, I will say this you're taking quite the interest in Dakota Orion, and actually, one does admit that the sure shot has actually caught this gentleman's eye as well. Um, as far as Sebastian Braun goes, I have to say, he's quite a gargantuan in his own right, and not somebody I want to cross in a dark alley if I can avoid it. Now, obviously, that's no disrespect to his work in the ring. It is most impressive, and I'd like to have a little tussle with him at a certain point, perhaps with his heavyweight championship on the line, but that could be for another day. That's no problem. But
Why are
as
you
far
looking at me
as
when you
the,
ask that?
well, I mean, there is somebody
That
that
that that
can
that
make
that
that happen.
that that, that kayfabe.
Sorry.
Kayfabe, guys. Kayfabe.
But aside from that, well, as far as his as far as his actual dance moves themselves, well, I say challenge accepted if he's brave enough to meet me on the dance floor.
I mean, he's already coming for your best dressed title. Let's be real. He's got the
Ooh.
nice ascot and everything. I'm just saying, you
True.
can't deny that he also dresses very dapper.
Although you're gonna hate this, you know who else has some really cool gear? Jace Carr.
That
Sorry.
was I'm not gonna lie though. I know
Yeah, that
he
was
was your
pretty
biggest
nice.
rival, but that
It
looked
was pretty
nice.
nice. Yeah. The only
I'm just
difference
gonna
I
throw
see
this
with
out
him
here.
is that like every time he comes out, he's got different gear. So like you don't see that a whole lot on the indies. So I appreciate that as well. But
Yeah,
I'm just
I
gonna
do
throw this
admit that
out
he
here.
was
I was
rather
big on the
sultry.
Buffalo Boys, and I think best dressed is a little guy named Flux, who has the best jacket I've ever seen in my entire life. I don't know where he got, but I'll take 10.
I do admit that that garb that he comes out with is a little ostentatious, even for a gentleman's preference. But to each their own.
So we were just speaking of everyone's style, but let's go back. You said you eventually wanted to possibly test your metal against Sebastian Braun. Is there anyone else on the Express roster, the LAW roster, the Cheap Shots roster that you'd like to face one day, but have not gotten the chance to?
Hmm. Now that is a mighty fine question and quite a pool of talent. Let me think here. Hmm. Hmm. One would think some of the obvious choices would be perhaps all of the king's horses, of all the king's men, none more nobler than the man himself. Horsepower? Hmm. Let's see.
You know what? I'm gonna give you a second to think, and I'm gonna tell you this. As somebody who is in the know of LAW, a certain man named Soul Taker has requested you as his next opponent for LAW.
Is that right?
That is right.
Well, if the Soul Taker wishes to take on yours truly, then well, if I must do a deal with the devil, let's make it Faustian and make it so.
you just got to say his proper name.
No, we are not. No, no,
No,
Uh,
no,
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 Tommy.
no, Tommy,
I
no,
will cut the. I will cut the feed.
no.
yeah,
We're not
let
doing
us
You
not
must
that.
do
We
can't
that.
do
can't.
that. I haven't. When you've been in the business as long as Hank Hudson, you can get away with it, maybe. But I
Just
ain't
say
doing it
Hank
now.
has. I haven't. Hank has.
But
Everyone,
let's see
Say
here.
his name and he appears.
it's like Hank
That would be
Hudson.
the
What the hell?
Candyman. Thank you.
Hank Hudson is here. Hank Hudson shows up at my apartment. We are so having like pizza.
Pillar to post.
Okay, since we're having a little bit of a thing here, Godrick Sandwell, I'm going to challenge you to something right now. Okay, I would like
Okay.
here on the IndyVision podcast to find out: are you smarter than a fifth grader?
Oh boy.
So
Okay.
Yay!
the first thing I will need you to do is pick a number between
For
1
the
and
change.
13 so
Okay.
that you know that I'm not rigging it and you can pick whatever test you want. Pick a number between 1 and 13. I will go to that test and give you that test.
All right. I'm feeling number 4.
Number 4.
Oh boy, it's been a
Okay.
little while.
We're going to click you here. I will let you pick which first grade question do you want? Do you want geography or biology?
I'm a little bit friendlier with geography.
Geography. Okay. What is the only continent that is also a country?
Hmm. I said I was friendlier. I didn't say I was proficient with it.
I think I get the answer, but I want to see if he gets it.
Let me see here. Would that be? No, that's not it. Hmm.
Uh-oh. You might have should have went for biology.
Yeah, perhaps so. I'm going to take a wild hack at it and say South America,
It's Australia.
I was
Australia.
right.
Oh.
That's all right.
You know what?
Oh,
I'm going to give you the other question, see if you got it. Ready? True
you're
or
gonna
false? All adult kangaroos have pouches.
I believe that's false.
That is false. Okay, I'm going to let you move on to the second grade question here.
All right.
Measurement. How many months of the year have
Oh.
31 days?
I believe 5.
Kevin, stop going on Google. I see you Googling, Kevin. I
I'm
see you
drinking
Googling,
sweet
Kevin.
tea. It's sweet tea.
All right, so I'm going to how many months of the
Sweet
year
Duke.
have 31 days?
I believe it's 5.
It is 7.
7.
Ah,
Bro, you got to. It turns out that Godrick Sandwell needs to stop reading Japanese books and start reading some more.
perhaps
Go back to
so.
5th grade, apparently.
Stop
He's
worrying
been
about
reading
where
more
your
than he
next
used to,
katana's coming from and read
Just-
a fucking book.
Anyone
Hey,
watching
whoa,
or
whoa,
listening,
language, sir, language.
to anyone watching or listening, that does not mean Godric Sandwell is not smarter than you, because I know about a quarter of you also got those wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we can all admit our
more
faults.
than a quarter.
Don't insult the
More than a
audience.
quarter.
I'm not. I'm just saying I got the second one wrong in my head.
You really thought that all kangaroos had pouches?
No, the other one.
Oh.
Australia, what did you say?
No, I know. Australia was the first one. I'm talking about the months of the year.
Okay, yeah, that
Oh.
was
Yeah,
okay.
I
The
thought
second
it was
grade.
like
Okay.
5 as well.
No, I always remember 7 because there's that rhyme 30 days past September, April, June, and November. That's how many
They
months
didn't
have
teach
Wait,
us
30.
no,
that.
no.
And yeah.
It's 30 days has September, first of all, not past. 30 days has September, April, June, and November.
Okay. Well, now
Right.
I'm dumb.
You crazy kids and you mnemonic devices.
I'm sorry we
So
don't
with
have
that belt
abacus.
there, Tommy, I'm not sure if you got it around, but do you got the title that you could show real quick?
Oh yeah, how did I
Give me 1
forget
second.
about the big announcement? The whole point of this, you know?
Hmm.
Uh-huh.
This
So on
partnership.
go
Sorry,
ahead,
Titan.
go ahead.
This
No, send it.
partnership isn't just for the podcast. This is to bring IndyVision to a larger state of being, in essence. Between us and Titan here, we got a special thing exclusive on, unfortunately, sorry, Godric, on your episode. But it's something
Ladies
you're
and
going to want to
gentlemen,
see.
let me introduce you to the IndyVision Heavyweight Championship.
Ooh, okay.
Now, for the first time, the IndyVision Championship will be fought for at LAW on April 30th at Cease and Desist. I'm not going to tell you who all is in the match, but I will tell you there's a certain favorite aunt in there who I have a feeling is going to handle business. Everybody's favorite aunt. I'm going to leave it at that. Tommy showing
Wow.
his fist, which if you look at the top of his fist, there's these 4, I believe they're called knuckles.
No, I got no idea, Titan. You lost me. I think it was someone that was in TNA before. I don't know.
TNA, everywhere. She's been everywhere. Do we want
Yeah,
to announce the whole match or just leave it at that? Do we want to keep it a surprise?
Let's keep it a surprise, but I think people understand who the first participant announced is.
Oh yeah, for sure. We'll give little hints here and there, like maybe another participant in the match's first name is a certain seasoning.
Just remember, surprises don't sell tickets.
No, they sure don't. But they get clips or they get clicks, and that's what we're after here, Tommy. So
Woo! Content.
That's fair. That's fair.
But
Like
yeah, well, in that case.
like putting a puppy in your promo.
I
yeah,
have a cat around
absolutely.
here somewhere. I don't know where they went.
Oh,
I'm the
you're
only one
talking
who
about
lives in a cat. I got a
spices.
ferret.
That reminds me, this gentleman is most famished.
Yes,
Oh, I
we
believe it.
we're only going to keep you here for another 3 hours. Okay.
You're
Challenge
captain.
accepted, sir.
Yes.
Hold
Uber
on.
Eats.
Hold on. We need our indie insider, Brody.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Come
Well,
on,
he tries to get this to happen.
Brody.
Godrick, back to the question I had asked. Have you thought of any of the opponents you'd like to face in the future?
Well, Soul Taker does rank right up there with somebody that piques my interest. Let me see here. Such a pool of talent everywhere. It's really hard to narrow it down just to a couple of choices because the fact is you can learn something from virtually anybody. So I say the more that applies, the more that rises, and let's just make some magic.
You know what? I'm going to tell you what my dream Godrick Sandwell match is right now. I would love to see you versus somebody who was at Express Wrestling not that all that long ago, and that is AJ Alexander. I think that would be an
Oh,
absolute banger of a match right there.
talk about a clash of ideologies as well. Last time I checked.
I have a name that hasn't been at Express since it was PWX. It's a Mister. He came up with the. He faced Rich Swan. Was it Chris Slades?
Oh,
Tommy?
Chris Slades. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
that'd be a
Yeah, oh
banger
yeah,
of a
Chris
match.
Slade's awesome.
Him and
Yeah.
Rich Swan tore the house down when
Mhm.
they were here. They even got Hank to do a little bit of the dancing too.
I
I mean, that's a
think
hard
I
thing
remember
to do.
seeing that actually.
Now,
It's a little.
Godric, before we go, there's one more thing I need you to do. You ready?
And that is.
I want you to tell everybody at home where they can see you, where you're going to be in the near future.
Let's see here. As far as my itinerary goes in the near future, you'll be seeing me pretty soon at Desire Pro Wrestling on the May 5th. The next confirmed date I have next month is May 17th at Express Wrestling, and I better be defending this Three Rivers Championship. As for where the journey takes me next, I have no idea just yet. But once I
And
know,
before May 17th, don't forget, you get a
that's
second shot
right.
at the
That
LAW title from La El Shaddai at
that
LAW. So
Who?
Yeah.
La El Shaddai, Tommy. Don't play
Wait a
dumb.
minute, Tommy.
But
yeah. Now wait
Now
just
you
a minute
yeah.
here because
Wait a minute.
that's actually a good point. That is right. I am
Wait, so
owed
again,
a
Tommy?
rematch
a
for
re-
La El Shaddai's LAW Championship.
no, you don't need it. You
I
failed.
don't need it.
No, not only does he need it, he gets it on April 30th. And here's a
No,
stipulation
wait,
that
hold
is
on,
going to
Timmy.
get.
Wait.
Hold on, no.
Who's the
Listen,
LAW
Tommy, I
champion?
paid for it. Listen to me. Who paid? Who signs the bottom of your paycheck? What's it say at the bottom of your paycheck? Hold on. Let me make you big real quick. Hold on. Wait, okay. Good. You're big now. Tell everybody what's at the bottom of your paycheck. What does it say?
Timmy Titan,
Thank you.
Money Mark
So on
Media.
April 30th, not only will Godrick Sandwell get his rematch, but if a single member of New Religion gets involved in the match in any way at all, La El Shaddai instantly forfeits the title to Godrick Sandwell. It will be a one-on-one contest, no matter what you try to pull, Tommy. You
Well,
know what? In
how does it
fact,
feel?
on behalf of the one fan at LAW, I'll FedEx
What
you the
the?
contract, bud.
How does it feel the
Tommy
other
is
two?
uncomfortable. He is so uncomfortable right now.
That's fine.
I
And
knew
I
he
do
hadn't fully changed, but he wanted to talk about that 12-step program. I completely forgot. Isn't he? He's the handler of El Shaddai, ain't he?
That's correct. And actually, I do
I mean,
apologize because you're
I
right.
say ham based on La El Shaddai's behavior, I say handler loosely, by the way.
And I agree with that. And again, I do apologize for the brief lapse of memory. I've been taking a few blows to the head of recently. I'm sure you've noticed.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
can tell by
But
the forehead that you're not lying.
but but you are correct. I am owed a date with Mr. Lael Sherry. I'm sorry. Lael Sharona. No, that's definitely not it. La El Shaddai is his name. La El Shaddai, which I found out means the Almighty God not too long ago. With that being said, for a Cambion that likes to claim himself as a god, that's mighty interesting. But it's actually kind of nice that I'm wearing this blue jacket right now because there's actually a reason, and maybe not a lot of people know this about me, but you're going to find out right now that there is a reason that a lot of people would call me the devil in the blue coat. So, what that means is a Cambion and a devil clad in blue will clash for that LAW championship. And Mr. Titan, I owe you a big thank you because now the new religion is going to have to take a backseat and see what they can collect with their collection plates because they're not going to be allowed to interfere with me and La El Shaddai's business.
The most full of confidence I am pulling for you. You have inspired me
Me too.
with that and fired me up, and I'm not even in the
That's
match.
fucking bullshit, Timmy. That's fucking bullshit. Yeah, I stayed professional this whole fucking time, and then you're gonna hit me with that bullshit? Fuck
You
you,
didn't say
Timmy.
professional. You left. You said you. Bye.
Yeah,
Bye.
it's really professional to come on, do your little ambush, and then leave. Yeah, real smooth, Mr. Horror. But you know what? Something that's okay. That's all right. I'll keep up the decorum in his stead, if nobody minds, of course.
I don't think anyone here minds at all. I know I don't, Timmy.
Absolutely not. Mr. Sandwell, you are free to do as you will.
Thank you, gentlemen. I greatly appreciate that. But the only other thing I'm gonna really say about La El Shaddai, I don't know what he goes by, whether it's Cambion, whether it's Demon, whether it's he. I don't know. That's up to him. That's what I'm going to go with. So if somebody finds out for me, please correct me. That's fine. But the bottom line is this: I got just a little bit of an hors d'oeuvre of what La El Shaddai is all about. And I do have to admit, those dead eyes, the fact that you're covered in blood, the fact that when I get close enough, all I smell is just this rotting, like a combination of rotting meat, the sulfur, and probably some other things I don't even really want to know. But that
That
being
does smell weird
said,
in there.
yeah. But the fact is, La El Shaddai, you're champion for a reason. Because when you go in there, you put it all on the line. And I appreciate that. Because a gentleman goes in there and puts everything on the line as well. Now, I don't know what happened to your heart and soul. I don't know if you sold it in some Faustian fantasy. I don't know what it is that brought you back. I don't know if even Tommy Horror would have done something so nefarious with a Mephistopheles or a Blackheart. I don't know. But it doesn't matter to me because you bring your intensity, you bring whatever it is that you have because I like it. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this, my heart, my soul, because that is what a gentleman does. And because I have the honor of being the Three Rivers champion once again, for being able to represent Express Wrestling once again as I pray to everything I can say this at some point as a premier champion. Maybe, maybe someday people will think of me as one of the better ones. I can only hope. I will let history dictate that. I will not be braggadocious myself. But La El Shaddai, if you want to wear red, go for it. I'll wear blue this time because this devil in a blue coat is motivated and he's coming for you.
Very strong words. I very much appreciate you being here, Mr. Sandwell. You said earlier about being famished. I'm going to let you go get what's obviously going to be a champion's meal tonight. I very appreciate you being here with us on our merger episode here. Kevin, you got anything else you want to add here?
Other than thank you so much, Mr. Sandwell, Godrick, for coming on here. Realistically, last minute, this merger just occurred. and we couldn't think of anyone better to have on the first episode of this merger than you yourself. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for being a good sport with that Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? Thank you for being a good
Absolutely. Yep.
sport. But
Well,
thank you
gentlemen,
so much.
it is an honor and a pleasure as always. As far as Mr. Horror goes, I would even extend him that same courtesy. Had he be here and not run with his tail between his legs, probably to the Malabulge to find his La El Shaddai.
Absolutely. And I would like to end by saying, salutations, sir.
Sayonara, gentlemen.